Overland Weekly usually lives behind the microphone, but today, it's a little bit more behind the windshield. Recently, we dropped into Hawk Pride OHV during Mardi Gras, courtesy of the Louisiana Land Cruisers Club. It's a phenomenal event that they put on down there each September, bringing together Toyotas from around the southeast as well as a few non-Toyota friends. So while we were there, I grabbed the camera, we rolled out the crew, and tried to capture some raw footage, giving you an idea of the trails, the park, and the conditions. Our friend James came down with his squarebody. Zach brought Camo, and she managed to stay on all fours most of the time. Mike's 80 did what 80s do, and the rest of the crew and faces you'll recognize if you've followed the podcast for any amount of time. So here we go, no music, no cinematic effects, just traction, throttle, and a little Alabama sandstone. Let's get into it. So as you enter the park and come down the main trail, trail number 1, which is known as Big Hill, one of the sets of trails you quickly encounter at the bottom is known as the Top Gun Trail. So you have Maverick, you have Goose, and you have Ghost Rider. And this is James outside of Maverick, kind of taking a little bonus line here at the entrance and turning to the left here to enter the Maverick Trail. Now, right as James was turning on to Maverick, this Tacoma on Portals and Dirt King Long Travel rolled up to attempt that same line that James had taken. So we had to pause and get some footage of the IFS action here. So here comes Mike rolling into Maverick. This is the normal entrance if you don't take the bonus line in like you saw James do. So still, this entrance is one of those that's a little steeper than it appears and can be challenging depending on your wheelbase.
Now go. Now driver. Hope. Back up a little bit. You want to try and get your driver up here. That's good. Well, a little farther. You pinch the wheel right there. All right. Try and get your driver up on that. Yep. Yeah. Back up. Go drive passenger. I'm in a wall back here. Don't need button. All right. Oh.
Now, Mike mentioned that he was in the wall. What I don't think he realized is that he had just once again caved in his passenger side rear quarter panel here.
Woo!
So not far from where you exit the Maverick Trail, there's this boat ramp obstacle. And this is one of those obstacles that can really be weather dependent. And as you've seen, the park was really super dry this weekend. And even though this thing's pretty steep, it was no challenge at all for James and the squarebody.
Mike! Ain't got no horses. I'm out of gas. Straighten up.
Alright, so here's Zach in Camo dropping into the entrance of Maverick. And you may notice that Camo has a new set of shoes. Those are the Firestone Destination MT2s. This is the maiden voyage on those. They were sent over from our good friend Aubrey with Firestone, and the only thing Aubrey asked for was honest feedback. So if you know our crew, you know that we're often pretty brutal on tires and can be a tough bunch to please. So Zach is the test pilot today, and you will see these Firestones get put to the test as we proceed through the day.
James. There you go.
So now we're over on Brookfoot Trail. Brookfoot is divided into 3 sections, lower, middle, and upper. And here's Mike in the middle section, kind of the main obstacle. And he makes quick work of this. The 80s never seem to struggle right here. You'll hear our friend Elliot telling him to try it without a drive shaft. Elliot's 40, and this particular obstacle have a long relationship.
Back down and go the other way. This is getting boring.
That's an 80 trail. That's not a 40 trail.
Take your drive shaft out and try it.
No way. Well, the good thing is, folks, I can lay this over last year's video and it'll look the same.
Again, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as promised, this is the footage from last year, and Elliot is just a few feet further up the trail here. Now you can see last year's conditions were not optimal. Here he is, the cooler goes full yard sale. Of course we pick all that up, and what you don't see is that his drive shaft comes apart just a few feet further up the trail than it did this time. So It's kind of become a running joke at this section of trail for him.
Came out of the slip joint.
All right, so now we are back to this year, and look where Elliot finds himself once again.
Do that thing that makes my legs stretch out straight.
I'm tired of doing this myself. Anybody want to do it for me?
You're doing great.
So here's our buddy Andy on that same obstacle that you'd seen Mike come over a couple of minutes ago, and this is where they were joking about it being a tough obstacle for 40s. It's one of those where the wheelbase just doesn't line up quite the way you would like it to. So Andy was having a rough day with this one, and Elliot and Chris weren't making it any better by offering to throw their Amazon special traction boards underneath the 40 to put it in full overland mode. Here's our friend Ben placing a couple of rocks even to help the traction boards, but nonetheless the 40 was not getting over this little hump unassisted this day.
Now,
Okay, so here's Camo now on middle Brookfoot, and he has taken the split to the right going on to the upper part of the trail. And once again, conditions were just super dry. I mean, you see the truck just walks right up that little wall, and normally that's a little slip and slide mess. So really dry conditions compared to most of the times at this park.
So the whole
Okay, so now we have made our way over to a trail called Merlin. Merlin is considered to be one of the more difficult trails in the park, and it's a challenge any day of the week, but the conditions, being as dry as it had been, were really optimal for the guys to give this one a go. One thing you've probably noticed with some of these trails, and again here with Merlin, is there is another trail, a spectator trail, bypass trail, viewing area, whatever you want to call it, right next to the trail. And that's kind of a unique feature of this park, is most of the more difficult trails have a trail that's accessible by just about any vehicle right next to it. So you can run a group together that maybe the vehicles are not comparably equipped, but everybody can kind of stick together and enjoy the day. Now, this little spot right here was really giving Camo a hard time. Zach had tried a few different lines on it and was one of those where you get the front tires over and it's just soft and it just sinks. You can't get the rear end over. It kept getting hung up on a rock on the rear housing. So we finally resorted to dropping a couple of rocks in the hole there on the passenger side, and he was finally able to bump out of it.
I know, but it... Watch out, Alex. I hate rocks, but let's get out of James' way. You still gonna have to let it eat. I'll let him eat. As long as I'm just hitting housing, not tube, we're alright.
Well, you're...
Alright, Bob, we'll let it go. Oh, baby, don't quit. I'm gonna drive this home, Mama.
Measure rock every time.
Now, up. Passenger. Wait, not that
Not too far.
Yeah, there you go. Going straight. Right.
Okay, so now we have made our way down to a trail called Waterfall. This is a short trail, and again, not super challenging when it's dry out, but still just a really fun little keep you on your toes kind of trail. And it's one of those that kind of has multiple line options, so you get a little bit of that choose your own adventure factor.
All right, Ray.
I'm not doing that one.
It's going that way.
Really not bad.
I told Davey, I was like, he's going to
All right,
admit
Zach.
that they're not bad.
You've run 3 trails.
3 trails on some
destination.
sandstone.
They get a little hot.
They get melty fast. I don't know if that means traction yet, but they make a pretty smoke show. And they're doing better than I think we gave them credit for at first.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this Overland Weekly Trail Cut. If you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to us here on YouTube. And make sure you follow the Overland Weekly podcast, where we discuss the people, places, and events that make up the off-road and overland community. If you're looking for more info, behind-the-scenes clips, and highlight reels, make sure and follow us on Instagram. Join our Facebook group. Thanks for riding along. See you on the next one.